This is Matthew Cratter from Bitcoin University. Today I want to do another Toxic Bitcoin Saturday in which I highlight important news stories from the week that you may have missed or that I didn't cover. I answer some viewer questions and generally say things that increase my need for a personal security guard. We start with a comment from Stefan. You are all going to jump by the window when Bitcoin goes back to zero, all caps. Good luck. I want to point out to people like this that the tulip bubble and various other bubbles like this lasted less than a year. Here's a chart of the tulip bubble. Here's a chart of Bitcoin. Can you see the difference? It's been 15 years with Bitcoin. Another comment from Fo747. Bitcoin is clearly the winner, but the race is not over. You should let your viewers know that there's a race currently going on in BTC. Happens to be in first, but the season is far from over. My response, what's the competition? A crappy proof of stake coin or a dog coin. Bitcoin doesn't even have a true competitor in the race. And if we take a look at CoinMarketCap and the largest 10 cryptocurrencies by market cap, we have Bitcoin, of course, and then we have a coin that castrated itself by moving to proof of stake. This is, of course, Ethereum. We have a US dollar equivalent. We have a centralized exchange coin in the form of BNB. We have Solana, which is a VC coin that's in the process of collapsing. We have another dollar stable coin. We have another centralized corporate coin in the form of XRP. We have a dog coin. We have Cardano, which has been losing for years. And we have Avalanche. There's not really any competition for Bitcoin. Even ETH, the second largest, or the largest competitor, I should say, is breaking below key levels of 0.05. And there's some speculation that now that ETH and possibly the Ethereum Foundation is under investigation by the SEC, that they're no longer able to prop up the ETH BTC exchange rate. We'll definitely be watching this closely to see what happens. In the meantime, here's an ETH NFT that you can right click and enjoy. I thought this captured ETH perfectly and wanted to preserve it below. From Only Uranium, Bitcoin is only a feeling, nothing less. The moment feeling change, you will see how deep can go down. My response to Only Uranium would be Bitcoin is a little bit more than a feeling. For example, here's Iceland's massive Bitcoin mine. This exists in real life. This isn't just a feeling, and there are billions and billions of dollars being deployed by this, being deployed to mine this quote-unquote feeling that itself has a market cap of over $1 trillion. Hey Matthew, can you recommend BSV only exchanges that I can get some from? Getting serious FOMO. Of course, BSV is a failed fork of Bitcoin. My response, any gardening store that supplies bags of manure should have some bags of BSV in the same section. Another comment from this one from BuildPro9705. My gut tells me to swap all my altcoins for BTC. What would you do? Not financial advice. My response, if you know the difference between dog crap and chocolate, and someone is willing to give you chocolate in exchange for dog crap, what would you do? I want to pause the video here just to say if you enjoy these scatological metaphors, then this channel is definitely for you, and you should support it by subscribing. Hit the subscribe button, leave this video a thumbs up, leave a comment, and share this video with a friend. I enjoyed this tweet from HODLNOT saying it took less than 17 months from FTX saying it was all false rumors and customers had nothing to be concerned about, to SBF being sentenced to 25 years in jail. And he included a bunch of tweets from FTX saying that everything's okay, there's no need to be upset. And HODLNOT drills in and said, so there's absolutely nothing to be concerned about for your customers, just false rumors. FTX says correct. And then this was November 7th, 2022, just a few days before the exchange completely collapsed. This question from GTC Storm 40, would a crypto like Caspa ever be able to work alongside BTC? Most of the Caspa community loves Bitcoin. Of course, most of the world loves Bitcoin, but most of the world does not love Caspa. Most of the Caspa community loves Bitcoin and admit Caspa would be quote-unquote digital silver. It will never replace Bitcoin. That is true. Caspa is unfortunately years and years and years behind Bitcoin, and it will never catch up. This idea of digital silver is also nonsense, as I responded. Digital silver is a nonsensical idea pushed by scammy marketers. Silver, the metal, was only needed on a gold standard because it's difficult to chop gold into tiny pieces, so silver was used for smaller denominations. Bitcoin as a digital currency can be infinitely subdivided, so it doesn't need another cryptocurrency to go along with it. Money converges to one, and Bitcoin has already won the game. This was similar marketing to that which Litecoin employed many years ago, calling itself digital silver to digital gold. These are all ways that other digital projects try to attract some Bitcoin energy to themselves by calling themselves somehow related to Bitcoin when they're not. So don't waste your time with Caspa. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. In other news, Elon Musk is building hundreds of spy satellites for the U.S. government. This is definitely someone who seems to be supporting free speech on Twitter, but this is something to watch very closely. I think this is all going to ultimately end very badly, especially if Elon really is trying to move X or Twitter to being the WeChat of the Western world. As such, I might not be on Twitter forever, so I'd encourage you to also follow me on Noster Crater at nosterplebs.com. My NPub's up here, and I'll put it in the description notes below. You can just go to primal.net and open up a Noster, not really an account, but a public-private key pair. You can also follow me on Odyssey as well. The Rumble feed seems to be quite messed up. Rumble's having trouble drawing videos from YouTube, but these are two alternate places you can follow me if I were to leave the current platforms, which I certainly hope that I don't have to. Also in the disappointment category, we have Malay in Argentina creating a mandatory registry for Bitcoin service providers, basically giving in to FATFA recommendations. So this so-called libertarian is immediately cooperating and going against his campaign promises. I feel bad for the people of Argentina. Hopefully he's able to do other good, but he's completely lost the ball when it comes to Bitcoin. Unfortunately, in other bad news from other socialist countries like Canada, Bull Bitcoin's in-person Bitcoin purchases via Canada Post, where you could just go to the Canadian Post Office and give them up to 1,000 Canadian dollars and buy Bitcoin in a non-KYC manner where you didn't have to turn over any personal information. This is now being phased out. If you live in Canada, you should probably consider taking advantage of this as long as it's still running, which is up to April 15th of this year. But there definitely, we can all imagine reasons why Canada might be wanting to shut the doors on this with the very high inflation and the very oppressive government there. I like this tweet from Tur de Meester on who is writing the quote-unquote communist case for Bitcoin: abolition of property, abolition of private property, and plank number 5, presumably taken from Karl Marx, centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a national bank. In other words, a central bank. This is another problem with communism, and we have so many movements that are evolved and that currently support central bankers. And so these are basically all flavors of the same failed line of thinking. Next, we have David Marcus, CEO at Lightspark, announcing on Twitter that Coinbase has hired his company to help build Lightning and integrate Lightning into Coinbase. I found this amusing that Coinbase, with all of its support for shitcoins, has still been unable to integrate Lightning and the Lightning network into it. And it must not have very good engineers over there, because it's needing to use an outside company like Lightspark to integrate the Lightning network. But nevertheless, it's good news for Lightning as one domino falls after another and people move into using the Lightning network, especially corporations like Coinbase. We had David Bailey from Bitcoin Magazine, and who organizes the Bitcoin conference, tweeting that this whole monetary maximalist framing is BS. Paying Bitcoin for a JPEG is monetary. Gambling on unregistered securities is monetary. That's great. You really should encourage that. DLCs, atomic swaps, are monetary. Scaling self-sovereign Bitcoin is monetary. Wanting to censor these things is LARPing as monetary maxi. My response is that David Bailey is what you might call a Bitcoin ethics minimalist. In other words, he hasn't figured out the whole ethics side of the picture yet in life. If you take advantage of unsophisticated retail investors as a crypto VC, it's okay as long as you remain within Bitcoin's consensus rules, sort of poking fun at what David has chosen to do with his life. In other news, yet another company has chosen to adopt Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset. The KC, the Kansas City Cattle Company, has now adopted Bitcoin as a primary reserve treasury asset. The debilitating loss in purchasing power, combined with the increases in costs in our industry, have made this one of our easiest decisions we've ever made. Fix the money, fix the food. It's a very smart idea, moving your business and personal life onto a Bitcoin standard. I can highly recommend it. Comment from Andreas Solson 8922. Can you please share your thoughts on portfolio rebalancing for Bitcoin? Is there a need to rebalance cash/Bitcoin allocation? If so, do you recommend rebalancing periodically or based on percentage change tolerance? Thanks. My response: it doesn't make sense to me to rebalance, since that is just moving value from a strong currency to a weak currency. In other words, from Bitcoin back into the sinking ship, the melting ice cube that is fiat currency. If you lived in Lebanon, for example, you would want to only hold US dollars, not Lebanese pounds. There's no point diversifying your chocolate into crap. Just hold chocolate. Again, the scatological metaphors, if you enjoy them. A comment from @multiplecareers. Feels surreal watching this in 2024. This is a video I made in 2020. Dug into your older videos and found this gem and just had to laugh to see the price at $7,000 in 2020. Where was I? My response: the funny thing is that Bitcoin is still super cheap today, headed for the millions, in my opinion. So the good news is you're not too late if you're just joining us. I also wanted to give a shout out to the Gaming Canadian, who has been day after day telling me that he appreciates my videos. Day 25 of telling Matthew his uploads are appreciated. I appreciate you as well, the Gaming Canadian. And Stefan in this comment saying, happy 1-year anniversary of Bitcoin University. Thank you for all the hard work. This channel has been a huge part of my Bitcoin journey, and I orange pill folks with a lot, many more years of continued success and winning. I hadn't realized actually it is the 1-year anniversary of roughly of my publishing this video on April 3rd of 2023, really in the depths of the bear market, when I changed the name of my company and really went all in on Bitcoin. I changed the name from Trader University to Bitcoin University, and I'm very, very proud of that decision. This is another example of how you can be the Bitcoin guy, which we've talked about on this channel, how you can move more and more of your life into Bitcoin. Once you're on the winning team, you realize what a good idea this is. Having the name Trader University was just a little bit too confusing, especially because I was advising against trading Bitcoin and advising people just to hodl it. Back when I made that change on April 3rd of 2023, Bitcoin closed at approximately $28,000. So we've definitely moved a lot from there in terms of purchasing power. And a special thanks to all of you who stuck around during the long bear market. There's some pretty dark months and some even pretty dark years there, but it was a great time to roll up our sleeves, do some deep dives into Bitcoin without all of the noise and distractions that come with a bull market as we're seeing currently. I miss the peace of the bear market and I miss the cheap sats, but I have to say I'm equally excited to see Bitcoin finally come into its own as a global reserve asset, such that even Wall Street, banks, and nation states are beginning to realize that they need to start accumulating in a big way. So congratulations. Together we front ran the big boys and the cantillionaires who are finally just waking up to Bitcoin and beginning to port their wealth over. So never forget that we were able to get in ahead of them. And I would say that the best is yet to come. We survived the bear market, and now I think we have a lot of good things to look forward to. So I thank you for your support over the years. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit the subscribe and like buttons. Hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I publish my next video. And let me know your questions and comments in the comment section below. Thanks all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.